When you're big and cold-blooded, maintaining the right temperature can be a challenge, especially when you live on a continent that sees a wide range of temperatures. But for one primordial reptile, in whom the will to survive runs deep, adaptation takes on a whole new meaning in life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal info. And I'm Joe.
And let me check my notes. And I'm Carlos.
And today we're talking about the most amazing animal that comes second place in two categories. And first in one.
Second in two, first in one.
Yes.
That's actually inscribed on the medal that it wears around its neck.
Yeah, first in flight.
Second in two, first in one. But yeah, this is. I'm so happy that we're finally doing this animal. As a kid, I was such a huge fan of this entire order. I had to look at my notes again because it is an entire order.
So what are we talking about?
What did you click on, you the listener?
That's right.
You
What did
tell
you
us.
click on?
We'll wait.
This is the rock badger.
I didn't know there was a rock badger.
I feel like there is.
This is the pebble worm. We're close.
What?
That's what crocodile means in Greek.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we'll find out. Nile crocodile. Let's get that out of the way. We're talking about that, not a rock badger. Or
we are definitely talking about a pebble
we are
worm.
talking about.
Might as well get into it because croke or croaky or whatever, kroke in Greek means pebble, and drylos means worm. So crocodile is pebble worm.
Right.
Which is like, what were you thinking?
They look like pebbles.
Sure.
And they're long.
Like pebble dragon.
Well, yeah.
Pebble lizard.
Worm is another word for dragon.
Yeah, but it's WORM, so no.
Worm.
Wyvern.
But
yeah, the Nile crocodile. Not just
Okay.
any crocodile, the Nile one. The one that rhymes. The best one.
yeah. I mean, all the other crocodiles are in denial. Or are they not in the Nile?
Right. All right, so let's see where this lands in the taxonomic spectrum. The kingdom. You know it. You love it. You're in it. It's Kingdom Animalia.
I do love it.
I bet you didn't see that coming. The phylum is Chordata, because this thing has a spiny spine.
Uh-huh.
The spiniest of spiny spines, in fact. And the class is Reptilia.
Reptilia of the Hun.
Sure. This one's more brutal. Not necessarily.
No.
The order is Crocodilia. So this involves everything that looks kind of like a crocodile. This is alligators and caimans and gharials. The whole gharial gamut. The family is Crocodilidae. So the order is Crocodilia. The family is Crocodilidae, which are true crocodiles. So that excludes alligators and caimans and gharials. Fine, whatever. And the genus is Crocodilus. So this is a very focused taxonomy here. And the species is Niloticus. So Crocodilus niloticus. So we're also, the Nile crocodile, actually, first of all, by other scientists, other than us, esteemed scientists, it's called the African crocodile, which is lame. The Ethiopian crocodile, which is inaccurate. Not inaccurate, but insufficient, because it's all over the continent, as we'll see later. The common crocodile, which makes a little bit more sense, because it is the most common crocodile in Africa. And the black crocodile, which is weird because it's not. It's mostly not.
It's like a what?
It's like a slate gray. But we're going to call it here the meerkat muncher, the Titanic tunnel tamer, and Shia LaWildebuff.
More on that later.
Yeah, remind me to tie that in. Except for the fact that buff means beef in French.
Yeah. I forgot about that too.
What a weird last name. All right, so let's talk about what this thing looks like. Actually, that's wrong. Let's talk about where this thing lives. Africa. Bet you didn't know that. Mostly the Nile. Mostly Eastern Africa, which is where the Nile runs. So that goes from Egypt, I think, all the way down to mid-Kenya. But then the Nile crocodile can also be found south of the Nile, including Tanzania, Zimbabwe, and South Africa, and Rwanda and Burundi, and all those countries in between. So that is why it's the common crocodile, because if you go to Eastern Africa, you're probably going to encounter one in a waterway, because there's lots of them.
Trying to just go for a swim.
Yeah, it's very...
If you can resist.
They're tough to kill, and as we'll see, they take care of their young. So what does this look like? I'll start by assuming that you've never seen anything from the order Crocodilia before. So...
And you're driving.
And yeah. So imagine with me. Let's go into the realm of imagination. Imagination land. A gigantic armored lizard with a long body, stubby little legs, long powerful tail, and a large triangular head filled with razor-sharp teeth. They're not razor-sharp, but they're like cone.
Yes.
Like a shark's are razor-sharp.
They're pointy enough.
Yeah.
So that a bite force could do some damage.
They're pokey teeth. Which is an item.
Pokey teeth!
It's an item you can get in yellow version. It's awful. It's like you're wearing a necklace of pokey teeth. Oh, man. Their scales are mottled brown, bronze, sometimes black, and green. Like dull, muted, jungle,
foresty
gross,
green.
gray green. Yeah. Which gives them amazing camouflage. But they're not entirely black. Alligators are usually entirely black, but not, especially not Nile crocodiles. So I don't know why they're called the black crocodile. Sounds racist to me. And it's also crazy that cartoon crocodiles and alligators are always bright green. It's like, what?
Those colors pop.
There are literally no members of the order Crocodilia that are naturally, without algae all over them, bright green.
There's more than the, like. There's more green hue to an alligator than black.
I know, but it's not bright green. It's just like crazy.
Cartoons are for kids. They're not doing muted earth tones on cartoons.
Do it. Don't lie to the kids. Make the hippos like a subdued maroon. Why are they bright pink and purple? So when it comes to the Nile crocodile, the more coloration, the more mottled the skin, mottled, M-O-T-T-L-E-D, it's not mottled, the younger the crocodile. So as the crocodile ages, its scales become more of this dull slate gray, like a light slate gray. Their jaws have up to 68 pointy teeth. As we mentioned, they're cone-shaped, not like a razor, like a knife. They have a bite force of 5,000 pounds. And their mouth comes up in that classic, characteristic, sinister smile.
So that's one of the ways it's second best.
Second best animal smile.
No, wait, it's first best in bite force.
Yes,
that's the way it's first best.
Oh no, I thought the saltwater crocodile was first best.
First best in size. Saltwater crocodile is the biggest.
But the Nile has the best. The Nile crocodile has the best bite. Okay. Uh-huh.
That's where it's second best. So that's two.
Second best smile.
Well, who's got the first?
The quokka.
Oh yeah.
The quokka for sure.
Our listeners?
Maybe pit bulls. They have great smiles too. So, now that we have a good idea of what this thing looks like, if you're standing next to it, how big is it?
How big is it, you say?
Could it swallow you?
Could it swallow you, you say?
That's what I said.
That sounds like we need to go into a special segment I like to call Measure Up, the part of the show that is introduced by you, a listener. And this week it's introduced by Jessie, or Jessica, whichever you prefer, whichever she prefers.
You
She's
should
my
know.
sister.
Yeah, you should know.
She usually goes by, I think she introduces herself as Jess, but she was always Jessie growing up. Well, now you know.
Now I still don't know.
Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show. There you have it. Finally, you've heard it. It's a chittering.
That's not really chittering.
Sure it is. What is chittering?
Like,
No, that's whispering.
Measure up.
That's whispering.
Chitter, though, like a measure up. There we go. That's kind of like a bray. Is that ASMR?
It's chittering.
What animal is doing that?
We'll have you guess right in the comments below. Somehow. What animal that is. Anyway, let's get right into the best measure up we can do for this most illustrious of reptiles.
This is the best measure up we could do for this reptile.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. This is the best we could do.
No,
We had to work with the crocodile.
no, I
you
mean
know?
like the best we can be. Like it's supposed to be like it's not downhearted. It's triumphant.
You need a PR guy.
All right, here we go. Length 3.5 and 5 meters is the length. Let's call that, or rather, 11.5 and 16 feet, thereabouts. Though
Okay.
crocs can grow until they die, so some old-aged crocs can be over 20 feet.
Yeah, I got 21 feet and 2 inches as the longest one ever.
That's a decent-sized reptile.
That's a big boy.
Let's call that an even 14 feet.
Call it whatever you want.
How many crocodiles, Nile to be exact, go into the height of Khufu's horizon, also known as the Great Pyramid of Giza?
What dimension are we going by?
Here's why we're talking about this. The Nile ends in a delta, a river delta, and that's what is Egypt, and it's a very fertile delta. So that's where the Egyptians built their whole situation.
That's what ancient Egypt was.
Yes.
Modern Egypt is much bigger.
Yes.
So what dimension of the pyramid, like height?
No, gators. Yeah, oh yeah, height.
Or length or whatever?
Here,
Depth?
the height of it from the, to the bottom to the tippy top.
From like the ground to the tippy top or like the underground chamber to the tippy top? I know your games.
I don't know the answer to that.
Can't trick me.
Here's a hint. The pyramid, the official height, if you looked up on the Wikipedia page what the height is.
Sure.
The Pyramid of Khufu, here's the hint by the way, the Pyramid of Khufu is the largest pyramid in the world, but it may not look like it. The Pyramid of Khafre, which is right next to it, in the center of the 3 pyramids of Giza, sits next to it on a higher elevation, making it seem taller. Khufu was also 26 feet shorter than its original height.
I'm thinking 450 feet for Khufu's horizon,
Okay.
which is my favorite horizon.
You don't like Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever?
Not as much as I like Khufu's. About 6.5 go into, a little more than 6.5 go into 100. I'm going to say 30. 30 Nile crocodiles. Because they're 14 feet. And I think it's 450 feet tall.
Okay. The answer is 32 and a half.
Yes!
Because the height of the Great Pyramid of Giza is 138 meters or 455 feet tall.
Man. What?
It used to be like 480 feet
that was
tall.
solid guessing.
I should have went for what its ancient height was.
I mean, I know that, like, I know I've heard whatever the height is in sub point.
Oh, sure.
I just don't remember what it was. But yeah, great.
Since you're on fire today, let's move on to weight. 225 to 750 kilograms or 500 to 1,650 pounds. Let's call that an even 100 1,075 pounds.
1,075?
Yeah. How many crocodiles go into the approximate weight of Khufu's horizon?
Oh, man.
Yeah. The weight of a pyramid.
Also, 1,075 is not even.
But it's the average. It's the exact
It is a whole
average.
number, but it is not even. This podcast has forced me to do so much math.
I know. Just stop doing the original idea behind this segment was like, let me just think about it in ballpark.
Should I go back to doing that?
You won't be as right.
I won't even stand a chance. That's the problem. But this one I don't have. The guess. There's still a huge ballpark guess.
Well, you just have to think about the gator or the croc as a unit. You stop trying to think of math. Just how many of those crocs do you think go into the weight of a pyramid?
Okay, that I can just cram into the weight of this
Yeah.
pyramid.
Since a pyramid is so universally, known, so accessible in your mind, that's why it's helpful.
500 million pounds. That sounds like a good number, right? I don't know why I'm asking you. You're not going to tell me.
It's definitely a number.
It's definitely a number.
500 million pounds.
500 million pounds. Yeah, it's a big thing.
Sure.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with it.
It's got
a
lot deep inside of its heart.
Yeah. So 500,000
Okay.
crocs.
All right. Do you want to hit first? The average weight of the blocks used to construct the pyramid is 2.5 tons.
All right, hold on. Well, each block is 5,000 pounds. I mean, if there's 1,000 blocks, then right there you've got 5 million pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So let's shave a couple zeros off that. All right, well, let's say 50,000 alligators. Or now crocodiles. What am I talking about?
The correct answer
Oh my gosh.
is 10,697,674 crocodiles. The Khufu's horizon is 5,216,000,000 kilograms, or over 5 million tons.
All right, so I was a decimal point off on my original assumption.
Yeah.
At least I got the 5 right.
Sure.
I got the I got the digit right.
This is just like when we did the neutron star.
No, this was worse because I was, at least on that one, I had the right number of digits.
Yeah, but you were still
Off by
trillions
by
or
several quadrillions or something.
Yeah,
septillions. All right. Do we know how much this weighs and how big it is?
We're super familiar with it.
Good.
Every time you think about the crocodile, just imagine something that would go into the Great Pyramid of Giza 10 million times.
It's a twofer. Now you know about the Khufu's horizon. Now you know it's called Khufu's horizon.
Yeah.
And
Khufu and Caffrey.
And Kraft mac and cheese.
And I don't know, maybe that's the third one.
Not a sponsor. All right, let's talk about what this thing eats, which is everything.
It eats you.
Yeah, it eats you. It eats me. It eats rocks.
Uh-huh.
It eats fish. It eats mammals. It eats smaller crocodiles. It eats insects, crabs, mollusks, frogs, lizards, turtles, snakes, birds, even fruit.
It eats everything that moves and then some.
Did I miss anything?
Chairs.
It would eat a chair if it meant that it could use it as a gastrolith, which is something like a rock or like a fruit pit that it uses to help it digest its food.
Okay.
So they will often eat rocks for that purpose. And those rocks are called gastroliths because gastro means stomach and lith means rock.
Uh-huh.
So in case you haven't noticed or picked up on it, the Nile crocodile is the apex predator. There are lots of predators in Africa and none in the Nile crocodile's habitat comes close to the Nile crocodile.
Right.
Because lions, hyenas, I don't know, snakes, they don't hunt the crocodile. Nothing hunts it except for humans.
Yeah.
And the crocodile hunts them right back. As young, they will eat usually insects, crabs, and mollusks, and small fish.
Same.
Sometimes frogs and lizards. But when they're older, they eat all of that and more. They usually hunt in the water because that's where they're the swiftest, and they can camouflage the best. But the Nile crocodile is unique in the
Crocodilian?
Crocodilia order.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's a unique crocodilian in the fact that it will hunt on land on purpose. Like, it will leave the water to go find food on land.
Man, if it leaves the water to find porpoise, they're going to be sore out of luck.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they're just like using an Around Me app to find porpoise. Like, I bet you have a better chance of finding, like an impala up there.
Sure.
Like a good gas mileage.
Yeah. A 64 Impala.
60. Oh, no,
nice classic car.
It's a good vintage. Good vintage. But yeah, they'll wander up to several football fields away from their water source to sit in bushes and ambush their prey.
Honestly, I'm down.
Are you?
Yeah, I'll sit in a bush.
Oh, all right. I thought you were down with the crocodile doing this.
Not to me.
No, yeah.
Maybe to impalas.
When you're around alligators, like we are a lot down here in South Florida, if you see one on the land, as long as you're on the land and you don't go and poke it or like try to ask it a survey or hand it a coupon or something, it's not going to attack you probably.
Want to come to my car wash? Get the smudge off your spines.
You got spine smudges. I see 6. I can take care of those. But yeah, so you usually don't have to worry about alligators attacking you while you are on land because they're not actively hunting you.
Same, yeah.
But if you're in the water, then you have something to worry about. The Nile crocodile, on the other hand, that's not a rule that you can apply there. So they hunt almost exclusively through ambush, which means that they either capture their prey in the first like 5 seconds, or they don't capture their prey at all.
Yeah.
So they can run pretty quickly at quick spurts.
Thought it was like 20 something miles per hour, like in quick bursts.
So they can run in quick bursts up to 22 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Which is probably faster than you or me or average people. I don't think it's faster than Usain Bolt. I think he runs like 30 miles an hour. But still, if it catches you unawares and it's like charging, it's going to get you.
Yeah. That's why they say to run in zigzag, but here's a little PSA. That doesn't mean zigzag back and forth in like a Z formation. It means to like cut to like move in a different direction than it was chasing you and then back,
Make progress away from the crocodile.
If your Z is so tight you're going straight, it's going to catch you.
It's going to keep just going straight.
Yeah.
Climb a tree, punch it in the snout if you have to, I suppose, if it's got you.
I don't know if that will do much. If it closes its mouth, you can hold it closed.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to poke its eyes or something like that if it closes around.
No.
You. Really?
If you poke its eyes, its eyeballs will just sink in. Like they're designed to just sink into their skulls. So you poke it and it's just like.
So there's just no hope if it's got you.
There's no hope. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
You could try punching it. They probably don't enjoy it.
Yeah, but they're probably used to getting like hoofed in the face.
That's true.
While they're like bringing down a wildebeest or something like that, so they can take a lot of punishment.
If you have something sharp, you can maybe stick it in their eyeballs.
Just don't put yourself in this situation.
Yeah, stay away from the water where it says don't go on the water.
Yeah, or
go to the beach.
Stay.
If you're in Florida, go to the beach. Don't go in the Everglades or into a canal.
Well, if you're in like Eastern Africa, don't go to the beach either.
Yeah, no, just Here in Eastern Africa, just, enjoy the sand.
Enjoy the land. Enjoy, till
Go on a safari.
till the earth.
Yeah. Till the earth. We don't have enough people tilling the earth,
Yeah. Tilling is just a lost art, I think.
Farmersonly.com. Not a sponsor.
Tillers only. So the Nile crocodile, like a lot of other crocodilians, can go for long periods without food. The Nile crocodile in particular can go for months without food because they are ectothermic, and that's how their metabolism works. So they can eat one thing and then just sit there and digest it at whatever speed they feel like for a long period of time. In cooler months, they'll digest things more slowly because they need the energy, and they can't warm up as easily, so the food warms them, or the energy from the food warms them. And I remember because we went to the safari ride at Animal Kingdom, and it was like, I think, January, and all of the crocodiles were just motionless and sitting there. And the person was like, hey, we don't feed them around this time because the food would just rot in their stomachs. They wouldn't digest it.
Yeah. Weird.
So, and nursing or mothers who are gestating will sometimes not eat for several months and have completely empty stomachs. So not just like have a full stomach and then digest it over the course of months. Actually have an empty stomach for months. So they can just go without food for a long time. And they'll go after prey that's much bigger than they are, like wildebeest or buffalo, like Cape buffalo. They'll grab it in its jaws, drag it into the water, do its classic death roll, which snaps bones and drowns its victim. And it tears flesh because it doesn't like chew. It just kind of like rips flesh apart and just like kind of chokes it down.
It would be a lot harder to be a crocodile and eat food if you didn't have any crocodile buddies. I feel like you'd have to shake it apart a lot.
Yeah, you do. But fortunately, they do hunt cooperatively, which is my next point.
Oh, also though, they will take stuff and like hide it underwater. So they'll take some food. I know this is true of alligators. I'm
Bite some holes in
assuming it'll be true of crocodiles. They'll take stuff, wedge it under, near, or in something like
hollowed out log.
Like in the Nile, you have like papyrus, where it's just like it's scraggly weeds that you can just like stuff into.
And also ride on.
Right on. So what they'll do is they'll wait for it to get bloated and gross, under like waterlogged, so that the flesh softens, and then they'll rip it apart.
Huh. That's smart.
Yeah.
Smart cookies. Delicious. But they will hunt cooperatively, often. So you'll have one crocodile that kind of jumps up and scares prey, and then it runs in the opposite direction, right into the waiting jaws of a second crocodile. They'll also corral fish, like up near the shore, and then they'll go and like attack the fish that are corralled. They'll also corral fish with their own tails if they're lone rangers, and so they have ways of making it easier to ambush prey.
We have ways of making it easier to ambush prey.
We have ways. So like we've said, they hunt humans. They've attacked humans up to 700 times per year because there are a lot of humans on the Nile.
Yeah, because it's a very good source of water.
Spans half the continent, and there are a lot of people there, and it is, for a lot of people living on it, their only source of water, fresh water. Mm-hmm. So the people there depend on it. They don't necessarily have the infrastructure to defend themselves against the crocodiles, so sometimes they'll put up like flimsy fences or whatever, but at least it's like, hey, if the fence is being destroyed, that means get out of the water. Because this flimsy fence is going to stop a 1,000-pound crocodile. But yeah, you still have to go down there and do laundry. You have to go down there and like get water for the village or whatever. You have to, and fishermen. And those are the people that are usually killed by the crocodile because, like you mentioned, once it gets you, you're got.
Yeah.
unless you can stab it and then you're good to go. Although I did see one video of a baby wildebeest that had gotten like ambushed by a crocodile. Oh no, it got tackled by a lion near the Nile, and then a crocodile came up and bit the other side of it, and they tugged on the wildebeest for a while, and then through the whole scuffle, the wildebeest was freed and ran away. I was like, what?
Well, yeah, because like it might choose to like try to like get a different hold or something.
Yeah, it might let go and like try to bite again and miss, and then you can run away. But still getting away from the lion. But then the lion's like, I got to deal with a crocodile now. But yeah, some quick fast facts is that their skin has pressure sensing organs that can detect changes in the water pressure, so they can see if like prey is nearby in the murky Nile water. And females can lay up to 100 eggs, and mothers care for their offspring for 2 years after hatching. So she'll carry them on her back or in her mouth. So that means that they have the opportunity to grow into adolescence without having an apex predator looking over them the whole time. So
nice. It's nice to do.
Their infant mortality rate is a lot lower than other animals, especially reptiles. And they have high lactic acid in their blood, which allows them to hold their breath underwater for up to 2 hours. So these are just the perfect killing machines. They can live for months without food. They can detect pressure changes in the water. They can lie motionless for hours on end, and they can hold their breath for 2 hours. So and they have the strongest bite strength in the world. So. Now, I've just given a bunch of what could be major facts. But what is the major fact?
Well, let's talk about the major fact. The Nile crocodile is the deepest digger in the animal kingdom.
No way.
Making it second to us, to humans. We made the biggest hole. Congratulations. So, a wide variety of animals dig holes, but very few bother to go extremely deep. The farther you get underground, the harder it is for oxygen to reach that far, like we learned with the naked mole rat.
Mm-hmm.
Animals typically stay close to the surface if they live underground, so they can hunt, forage, and breathe that good old fresh air.
It is good, isn't it?
It is good. Yeah. Some animals go deep for reasons that go beyond neat subterranean housing. Crocodiles dig holes to lay their eggs, unlike crocodiles and alligators. Other crocodiles and alligators, which make nests in nasty vegetation near the water.
Mm-hmm. That is nasty.
Yeah. Nesting holes are usually a few meters from the bank of a body of water, and they go about 20 inches deep, and she'll lay between 20 and 80 eggs. Man, if you get an 80 egg batch and like everyone else doing 20 eggs, you're like, look at these fools. I've got 80 eggs here.
I'm going to step on them.
I got 4 times what you could do one. Crocodiles dig holes for another reason. As large, cold-blooded animals, heat regulation is incredibly important to them. Put it on their Instagram bios and man, I'm all about heat regulation. I love it.
It's a cause that's very near and dear to my heart.
It is.
Because my heart doesn't warm me very well.
No, it doesn't.
It's cold blood.
So they spend a good portion of their time basking in the sun, not moving at all. They can spend hours upon hours, in fact. They can sit on the bank awake from 9 to 5, remaining completely still is their job. Yeah. Yeah. It's good. If it's cold or overcast, they will keep their mouths closed to keep in heat, and vice versa. If it's hot, especially around noon, they'll open their mouths to ventilate heat and cool down.
It's like an exhaust mouth.
Yeah, if it's a hot day and they keep their mouth closed, they could overheat and die.
So they better not fall asleep.
That's my next point. Despite this sedentary lifestyle, they remain awake and alert to their surrounding when they're basking.
What do they think about?
Nothing. Their primordial brains don't think about anything. It's completely zen in there.
They're like robots. It's completely zen.
Yeah, it's complete mindfulness. They're thinking about their own situation, their body situation.
They see through the clouds to the constellations.
But what about when it gets really cold or really hot? If a cold snap rolls in, it can mean the end of a croc unless they dig deep to survive, literally. Crocodiles will dig very deep holes and engage in yet another form of hibernation called aestivation.
I thought
Estivation. Emilio Estivation. Estivation is a state of inactivity and low metabolic activity. In other words, the croc goes into hypersleep. Their hearts can beat as little as 2 times per minute.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Young, small crocs will spend the hot summer months in holes a little more than 5 feet deep. Some can get as low as 12 feet deep. They will spend the summer in estivation, not leaving until conditions improve. On the high end, holes can be as deep as 39 feet or 12 meters, according to Life Science.
Dang.
Larger crocs will go into aestivation, but come up once a day to bask in the sun. So the larger ones are not down to spend the entire time in the hole.
These holes have to be really deep because these animals are really big.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't just have a 10-foot hole for a 15-foot crocodile.
Yeah, no, that's true. If you're gonna survive, especially if it's a drought, they can use this survival method to get through times where there's not enough water.
40 feet down, 4 stories.
Yeah,
you'll break your legs if you fell in that.
I'm assuming there's a slope. I know there's a type of monitor lizard that digs a deep hole too, but it goes in like a corkscrew.
Huh. Well, I guess it makes more sense than just like straight down.
And they've like figured this out by filling those with cement, and then like digging up around it, and you get these like corkscrew cement things.
Huh.
Yeah, that's a crocodile.
That's the Nile crocodile.
That's getting deep with the Nile crocodile.
Nice. We finally did it. Finally did that. What I think is like one of the coolest animals ever.
It's a ridiculous animal.
It is ridiculous. Ridicule it whenever you have the opportunity.
Look at you. You're good at surviving, and it's ridiculous.
Look at you. You'll die if it gets below 50 degrees.
But don't get close to me, please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm very fragile and slow.
Yeah. And real squishy.
Yeah, and I'm not very good at fighting or defending myself. All right, so for you out there in Podcastia, stay stealthy. Dig a nice, deep tunnel. And expand your diet like the Nile crocodile in life, death, and taxonomy.
You've heard of the death roll, but have you heard of the death scroll? No, it's not an ancient Egyptian manuscript that foretells a time of destruction and pestilence. It's when you listen to an episode of LDT and keep scrolling without hitting the subscribe button. Get new, interesting animal info in your inbox every week. Isn't that right, Carlos? Carlos?
There is no Carlos, only Anubis. How dare you listen and not subscribe? Click that button and leave a review, or I will heap the coals of shame upon you for all eternity.
Hey, that was pretty cool. How did you do that?
Actually, did you do it in editing?
Oh, yeah.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
There you have it. Finally, you've heard it. It's a chittering. Now you've heard that. It's a barking.